Okay, we're going to start with some rapid fire would you rathers.
Oh, okay.
Because
I like these. We did rapid fire once before. It was fun.
We're 31 episodes into this. This is the 31st episode we've done.
Wow.
We've taken a couple breaks here and there.
I can't believe that. That's actually, it doesn't feel like we've done that many.
It does to me. Every one of these podcasts takes 30 minutes off of my life. But I just can't find good icebreaker questions anymore.
Yeah, we've used a lot
So
of
if
them.
you have any that you'd like us to start an episode with, I'd love to, all you 4 people that watch this, I would love to hear from you. So let's do some rapid fire. These are super easy.
Okay.
Super basic.
Okay.
I phoned it in. Let's just say what it is. Would you rather spend a weekend in a tropical paradise or snow haven? Super easy.
I probably would. Well, I really would like both.
Oh my God.
We can go to a snow one together.
No.
Because then we'd both have fun.
Individual. Pick which one you would rather go to.
I would probably rather go to a warm place.
Exactly. And I would want to go to a snow haven.
But if we were going together as a
You'd be
pair,
okay with going to the snow
I
haven?
would. Because there's a lot of I got a lot of cozy sweaters and I can eat a hot chocolate or drink a hot chocolate.
I grew up in a tropical paradise.
Yeah,
I hate the heat more than anything else on this earth. I'm going to the snow haven.
Yeah.
That's just that. Would you rather speak 10 languages or play 10 instruments?
10 languages.
Yeah.
That's easy.
This one is a little hard for me, but I think the thing is, after 3 instruments, they start to get really nerdy. I don't want to play the French horn. Sorry, French horn people. Or the xylophone.
You don't want to play the bassoon?
I'd want to play guitar, drums, piano, bass, trumpet. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to have a hard time picking
Naming
5 other
10 other
instruments. Maybe the saxophone is cool. I like a saxophone.
What about the flute? That's what I used to play.
Woof. Yeah, no. But 10 languages now, that just opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
That's
so yeah,
true.
I'm with you on that one. 10 languages as well. Okay. Oh, this one's going to be easy too.
Okay.
Would you rather always be 2 hours early or 20 minutes late?
Oh, 2 hours early.
20 minutes
Easy
late.
mode.
That is an insane statement. What are you going to do for 2 hours?
I got a lot
Sit
of
in the
stuff.
parking lot?
Read a book, do my knitting,
No chance.
make some phone calls.
20 minutes late. Think about
No.
it just from a perspective of time. Just from 2 hours. So you lose 2 hours of your day because you have to be somewhere 2 hours early. Or 20 minutes. It's mathematical.
If you're 20 minutes late to a doctor's appointment, you'll never be seen by a doctor. If you're 20 minutes late to a hair appointment, you're never going to get a haircut.
Okay.
Because it's always 15 minutes. If you're more than 15 minutes late they will cancel your appointment.
I didn't think about
You
that.
would never go to any appointment for anything.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
But 2 hours sitting in a parking lot or a waiting room sounds like a nightmare. I hate waiting around. That's my least favorite thing.
I get it.
That's why work has been so tough, is because I have so many gaps in between my clients now that I just got to sit around and wait. Nothing irks me more than the feeling of wasting time. And I feel like that is just wasting time 101.
I'm early to everything. I'm 20 minutes early
Already.
to everything.
Yeah.
So I'm used to having small tasks to fill my waiting time so that it's not wasted.
I could definitely... That was a bad time to take a drink of water.
Yeah, that was.
A little dead air there. Sorry, folks. We're not very professional at this. It doesn't matter. I could find activities to fill the time. It's just I read in my car. It's I could be reading at home. You know what I mean? I don't find as much pleasure in doing activities in a place that I don't want to also be.
Yeah, I get it.
Anyway, but the 15 minutes thing is a good point.
Yeah.
Practically, that would be tough.
Yeah, you could never do anything.
Okay, would you rather sail or van life around the world?
Van life, probably.
I'm with you. I would get so seasick.
There are so many cool, I've seen a lot of people trick out their vans and it's really cozy and cute. And they do van life and travel all around. I would love that.
The key variable we're missing here is what is our budget? Because if you're on a dinghy, that's just the worst thing in the world, right? But if you had a yacht,
if you cruised around the world, that wouldn't be too bad.
Sail indicates a sailboat.
Yeah.
But you can get a pretty damn cool
nice
sailboat. Right?
Yeah. But
I feel like for normal people, like if you're on the level, tricking out a van would be easier than tricking out a sailboat.
And I don't think I would want to sleep on
a boat. But you'd rather sleep in the middle of nowhere in a van.
Good point.
Think about that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There's only so many Walmart parking lots that you can park in.
Yeah.
And this is around the world. So, I don't know. Theoretically, we're getting the van to another continent. So, you're sitting in Turkey, parked in a parking lot, and you're sleeping in a van.
But it's like if you're driving to travel, like you are seeing like new landscapes and places all the time. If you're sailing around the world, you're seeing open water.
It would be more engaging to drive, for sure.
Yeah.
From a safety perspective, I don't know. The sea is a cruel mistress, as they say.
She is a cruel mistress. That's true.
So I don't know. This is a hard one. I wouldn't want to do either of these, but I think van life is probably.
I would probably go van life too.
Okay. Would you rather be able to control time or fly? Time.
Yeah, definitely time.
Dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Think about this. You pause. In a second, you live an entire life. Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Or like you could take unlimited naps anytime you're tired.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's not even close. Like,
yeah.
Flying
would be cool.
Trust me. In other circumstances, I'm choosing flying. But time is the ultimate resource.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is the ultimate resource as human beings. We relate to time in a way that is like anything else.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that.
Time is money.
It's a really interesting... This is going to be a tangent, but I mean, it's my podcast. I read... What the heck was it called? Assassin's Apprentice. It was by Robin Hobb.
Okay.
It's really like good. They were written a long time ago. They're kind of like the forgotten trilogy of fantasy novels. Like people that read them have really loved them, but they're not like Game of Thrones or Stormlight or Lord of the Rings or anything like that. Okay. I'd say quality wise, they're just like a tier below. Popularity, they haven't really taken off. All that to say, there's the magic system. One of the magic systems it's called the wit, and you bond with an animal of some kind. So what was really cool was the perspective of how the human related to the time versus how the wolf related to the time.
Oh, interesting.
And it's really like it. She did a fantastic job describing it. Like it's one of the best described magic systems I've ever read. And just how like they have conversations about like what time is. And the human will talk about like, oh, in the future. And he's like, there is no future. It's now. Like we're going to catch a rabbit. So that's really interesting.
That's really cool.
But it made me think about like how humans relate to time and other animals don't have the functional capacity to relate to time in the same way.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting.
I mean, even different groups of humans have different ways of conceptualizing time, like cyclical time versus linear time. There are, cultures who always run early, cultures that always run late, have a little bit more flexibility in their sense of time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting how different, even within humanity, there's so many different ways to think about time.
I don't know if this is true or not, but I was watching Instagram Reels, like I always do, because I have a goopy goblin brain. And somebody was saying something about, it was either Uganda or Sierra Leone, that they have a 13-month calendar.
Really?
And so they're in like 2015 right now.
What?
I don't know if it's real.
I don't know if that's true.
They were interviewing somebody and they were like, what is the biggest difference in your country? I think it was Sierra Leone. I don't remember. But they were like, yeah, we have a 13-month calendar.
Huh.
It's like, dude, what?
Well, and there used to be back in like the Romanovs' time, like the Russian Orthodox system they were in like they were like 30 years off.
Oh, dude, everybody like...
And it was like 2 different years, like the Gregorian calendar.
Everybody being on the same calendar is a relatively recent phenomenon in all of human history.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like South Korea, up until like, they were counting years wrong, like...
Different.
Wrong is the wrong word.
Yeah.
But different. Like everybody has their own... It's weird.
Yeah. It's very interesting to think about and to learn about all the different ways that people think about
time.
Yeah.
It is one of those things, man. Time is
it seems so natural.
Right.
But it is not. It's totally made up.
Time is a flat circle. Would you rather read the end of every book or always forget the ending after you've read it?
Forget the ending.
Oh. Yeah,
because then you can read it again.
And in the moment, you still get that same level.
And you're like discovering the story. Like,
Dude, I forget the endings anyway.
I don't like to. Right. Yeah. I don't remember ever. I read too many books to remember all of them all of the time.
I'm wearing short shorts and it's just not working.
Shorts.
Yeah. I don't remember books at all.
And I don't. Like, when I was a kid, there was a point where I would like read the last page of a book sometimes.
My mom
and like,
does that.
It doesn't make any sense if you read it out of context.
I'll never forget.
I don't do that.
The 7th Harry Potter book came out.
And she went straight to the end?
She went straight to the last chapter.
No.
Yep.
To me, that ruins the experience.
She loved it.
I'm not going to tell anybody else how to enjoy reading a book. That's fine.
Yeah.
For me.
Seems a little off.
It ruins it.
I am not very affected by spoilers in terms of like movies or books or anything like that. Like I can still get something out of the overall story, even if I know a spoiler, but some people are very much
knowing that about your mom.
Oh, it makes so much sense. A lot of sense. She spoils everything. She's never not spoiled something.
She always spoils everything. Even when you tell her stop talking about it, you're going to spoil it.
In her mind,
keeps going.
In her mind, it doesn't matter, and she's trying to connect with you because she assumes that you are the same, and that you want to know the ending.
And you want to talk about it
because I think for her knowing the ending, like with Harry Potter specifically, Harry Potter spoilers, it came out years ago. If you haven't read it.
If you're getting it spoiled, you don't.
She needed to know who was going to die and who was going to live because the stress of not knowing if any of the main characters died would have ruined her experience throughout the book. Whereas other people, they go to that book for the stress. Like they want to be on the roller coaster ride.
Like the tension of the story, yeah.
I can go either way. Yeah. If I know what's going to happen, I can still glean enjoyment out of it. If I don't know, it's a different kind of enjoyment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But that makes a lot of sense, actually.
That's exactly who my mom is.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the next one? Would you rather be a whale or a lion? A whale.
Yeah, I would go with a whale.
Bro.
I'm not aggressive enough to be a good lion.
Oh, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that. I just want to
I would be a terrible lion.
If you're a whale... Now, it depends on which kind of whale. I would be a killer whale all day.
Oh, I want to be the one with like the straw teeth.
A humpback whale?
That like sucks the plankton
Yes,
out
that
of
is
the
a
water.
humpback whale.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Or a big blue whale.
Or a blue whale.
The big one.
Or a narwhal.
Yeah.
But I don't know if narwhals are specifically whales.
No, I might want to be a beluga whale.
Yikes. With a soft head.
And then I could have the song about me. Mm-hmm. I used to love that song as a kid.
I just think like being a whale... Now, again, they don't think. They don't have cognition in the same way that
we've been able to discern.
Right? But like I would want to know what's in the ocean. Being a whale affords you the ability to be like deep in the ocean and be like,
yeah.
I'm
do
a whale
whales
now.
Go super deep? I don't know.
Some
how
of them
deep
do.
They go. Really?
Not like super, super deep.
But deeper than humans.
Deeper than humans on a regular basis. Okay, two more.
Speaking of the ocean, where was I? I think I must have been in one of the nursing homes. So people always have like random news channels on. Apparently they're going to go get something off of the Titanic. There's like some new Titanic mission. And I heard that headline. We haven't
done enough of this?
I heard that headline and I said out loud, you've got to be kidding me.
Dude.
Like, have we learned nothing?
It's the triumph of the human spirit. But we do not have that same triumph. But the exploration is part of humans.
But it's like the Titanic's been down there for
a long time,
over 100 years.
Yeah.
If there's something that's still down there, what do we need that's down there?
I don't know.
We haven't needed it for the last 110 years. I don't think we need it now.
People just want to go.
I guess.
I'm telling you.
But yeah, literally, I heard that. I said, are you for real? You've got to be kidding me.
That's shocking. This close to
give it a year.
The people blowing up.
Give it a year
or imploding.
At least.
Hopefully it's a better system.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's unmanned and they can just robot arm get whatever they need.
I'm telling you, there are some people that are just born with this innate want to do things, to go and see things and be the first to do this or explore.
I'm happy to be the last.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll reap the benefits of that. I'm not going to the moon.
Nope.
I'm not going to Mars. I am good. I don't need to see the bottom of the ocean.
I don't need to see Mount Everest.
TVs are very clear. I can see it from the comfort of my own living room. Mount Everest too, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but I just had to tell you that.
That's life in the big city. Would you rather have every traffic light turn green or always have the best parking spot? Parking spot for me.
No, green light.
Oh yeah.
I'm happy to get some extra steps.
I was about to say now where I am physically, parking spot doesn't really matter to me, except when it's super, super hot.
I was gonna say if it was specifically shade parking all the time, I would strongly consider that.
I think that's too much of a caveat.
Yes. Yeah. I think by best parking spot, they mean like close to the store.
Like prime parking spot.
Right. I don't
care about
I guess,
that. Yeah. How do you define the prime parking spot? Shady?
I don't think that's the spirit of the question, to be honest. And I probably still would go for the green light because...
Dude.
As more efficient.
That is a time saver.
Yeah.
In this city?
Yeah.
Give me the green lights.
And then I would never have to be worried about being late anywhere.
Yeah, true.
I could just know
so then you can you could be 20 minutes late everywhere.
No, I wouldn't be 20 minutes late anywhere because I would get every green light.
All right, last one. This one's hard. Okay. Would you rather have slow internet or always forget your passwords?
I forget my passwords a lot anyway, so I guess I'm going to go with that.
It has got to be passwords. There is nothing more frustrating in modern life than slow internet. Because there's nothing you can do about it.
I know.
You're getting screwed already because you're paying these damn conglomerates so much money for a garbage package of internet.
I know.
Like, the amount that we pay Xfinity for what we actually get is criminal.
I know.
Criminal. But guess what? You can't go anywhere else because they've set it up. That's the only service provider in our area. So we can't even compete with anybody else.
How is it? So you can't even say like, I'm leaving Xfinity, give me a better deal.
No, we don't have another option. We do not have another option because they own the fiber.
Dang.
So nobody else.
I'm pretty sure that's not allowed.
Well, tell the U.S. government to do that.
They have a monopoly.
When was the last time that the U.S. government executed a monopoly case and actually found favor that there was a monopoly? Because they're currently trying to with Microsoft because Microsoft bought another video game company. But I think they're going to rule in favor of the monopoly. Like 100%. I would be shocked.
Yeah. No, I don't think they've busted a monopoly since the mid-1800s.
The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of whatever that was. Now, because this is the problem. We're going to get a little... Government is now industry and business. Those two things are so immovably connected that you cannot have an oversight committee from the federal government on a business. Are you kidding me?
No, they're
the same thing.
They're too intertwined at this point.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that was the rapid fire stuff. Let us know if you had any differing opinions in the comments.
Yeah. If you do, you're wrong.
Our
answers were right.
You and I disagreed with each other a couple times.
Well, when that was the case, you were wrong.
Oh, yeah. See, exactly.
And I was right.
We're going to do a fitness question today, I promise. But I just wanted to touch on a fascinating thing.
Okay.
They have finally made an anime adaptation that works.
Oh, yes. You were very happy about this last night.
So I'm a big One Piece fan. I love pirates. I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I just like pirates as like a genre. I read about pirate books.
You should read the book I'm reading now then.
Then I will.
But
there's a book, Red Seas Over Red Skies. Fantastic. It's the second book in a trilogy, it's a long series, but you got to read the first book to get to the second book. But the second book is all about pirates. Loved it. Anyway, I'm a big One Piece fan. One Piece, for those of you who are not in the space, is one of the longest running mangas right now, and it is being adapted to an anime. So manga is a comic book version, and anime is a cartoon version for you English people. For you Japanese people, don't get mad at me for those distinctions. They have been doing, and by they I mean Netflix, somebody else did an anime adaptation. They've been trying to get it right.
And they're bad.
And they're always horrendous. Not just bad, literally the worst thing you've ever seen.
I've never watched anime or a live action adaptation. Dude. I can only imagine how bad the live action ones are. Because, I mean, anime, like I've seen a few episodes here and there, and it is very much its own thing.
It doesn't lend itself well to live action. I imagine it would be very
hard to adapt it to live action.
The ones that have worked, because Japan has also done their own live action adaptations.
And are those good?
They're decent. Okay. The ones that work are usually either romance animes or mystery.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Because there's not a lot of the fantastical elements that you have to bring to live action.
It's not like Goku or like One punch guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a little impractical.
One Punch Guy. So
what is his name?
One Punch Man.
Oh, I was so close.
You're close.
I thought it might be Mr. One Punch, which I would really like that.
They did. The worst offense was the Dragon Ball movie. Now, this came out 15 years ago. But this was so bad. On par with the Avatar The Last Airbender live action.
I heard that was quite bad.
On par, like the Dragon Ball one is worse, I think. So then Netflix has recently they did a Death Note one and they did a Cowboy Bebop one. Both animes I enjoy. And I watched the first episode of both. And the issue is not so much the lack of the fantastical, because going in, if you're a normal human being, which a lot of anime fans are not normal human beings, so they're expecting a lot more.
Right.
As a human, it's not going to be a one-to-one.
Right.
It's an adaptation.
It can't be exactly the same.
The problem is that the people who have made the adaptations do not carry over the spirit of the show or the source material.
Okay.
And in any adaptation, that is the key. Lord of the Rings is not a one-to-one adaptation to the books. The movie version, the Peter Jackson movie, because you can't do that, right? But he brought the spirit of what the source material was. That's why they did so well.
Well, and I think that's true of like any, like especially fantasy series that gets adapted, like Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter. These are all too big.
They're too grand
to boil down, even if it's into a bunch of movies or a bunch of TV shows, like you're still never going to get all of the details.
There's no
it's
chance.
Just not possible, but you have to find a way to capture the essence and like what's important from the story.
Plus,
which is very hard
if you're going from literature or comics to on screen, the way those stories are told are so fundamentally different. You do not get first person perspective on screen.
You can't.
Or you get Blade Runner where they have his inner dialogue, and that doesn't work as well, right? We are conditioned, or we are brought up to think when I'm watching a film or when I'm watching TV, I need to be shown. I know the inner workings of the character based on the acting, but I'm never going to get the inner dialogue. People don't get that when you adapt. Because it's a very different experience. It's completely different.
Yeah.
And in screenwriting class, that's what they teach you. It's like, this is not writing a novel. This is a different thing.
It is a wholly different thing.
But people lump popular media together, right?
Yeah.
All that to say, I've only watched one episode. But I will say, man, compared to the first episode of Death Note and the first episode of Cowboy Bebop, that first episode did the best I think anyone's ever done with capturing the essence of what the show is.
I'm happy for you.
The acting's not perfect. I will say straight away, the CG is pretty good, but this is a story, like the main character's superpower is he's rubber. So that's very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, that is hard.
So, but they did a decent job with it. There's a lot of like fantastical race. Like there's a fishman people. So they've got to make people like turn into sharks. It's a big task, but the core of it is they figured out what the story was ultimately about, which is an adventure and following whatever makes you tick, doing that.
Well, there you
go. And
they
got that.
That's awesome.
At least in the first episode. So that's really encouraging. And I think the writer of the manga was so involved that that's why.
I think that always really helps.
People want to do these adaptations and they want to do a glorified fan fiction where they have more control, which is always a disservice. I think that's honestly what Disney's been doing with Star Wars for the past 10 years. Is they love the universe. They love the concepts that it allows them to look at, but they've been making glorified fan fiction for 15 years.
And so it just doesn't feel genuine. It
doesn't feel right. Yeah. I have not, like, maybe the first season of The Mandalorian, but that was its own thing.
Yeah.
But you watch all three of the new movies.
Yeah.
You watch most of the television.
Yeah.
It just feels off.
Somehow Rogue One, I remember being good.
That one was good.
That was like the only one that felt a little bit more like a genuine Star Wars movie.
The thing about Rogue One and the thing about The Mandalorian is they're so different from the traditional that they can get away with not feeling the same that the original trilogy did.
Yeah.
Or that even the prequels.
Yeah.
Because say what you will about the prequels, but they still had a certain feel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Continuity.
They're pretty garbage in their CG. They're pretty bad in their acting. But it's the same thing. They have this essence that feels to me like the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And I have not felt that in any of the newer I haven't watched since the second season of The Mandalorian. I just gave up.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not for me. That's fine.
Grogu was pretty cute though.
Yeah. I mean, if you enjoy it, this is not to say that you're a troglodyte for enjoying any of this stuff. You can enjoy what you want to enjoy. But for me,
it was just missing something.
It just doesn't hit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's bring this fitness podcast back to its roots, baby.
All right.
So I did find a question on Reddit that I really liked because I have been going through something very similar. So I was wondering in general how much time it would take to recover from a month-long break from training. My gym was closed all through August, and other than walking and some body weight stuff, I couldn't do much. I gained about 2 kilos, about 4.5 pounds of fat, I'm assuming. I probably feel worse than I look, but in reality, I'm still pretty bummed. Okay. So a couple things we need to talk about there. First of all, moving around. I mean, sure, you maybe gained some weight, but weight is transient, man. It's like,
you'll lose it when you get back in the gym. Not a big. I wouldn't worry about it. That's also not very much weight.
The other thing too is like maintenance is way easier than building new muscle. Mm-hmm. The body holds on to it a little bit better. Now you will. The baseline literature, after 1 week, you're totally good. Mm-hmm. No, you should have no change. So if you're going on a week-long vacation, don't sweat it. Enjoy the time. Come back. You will be, if not 100%, 95% of where you were.
And within like a session or two, you'll be right back. Yeah.
2 weeks is when things start to get a little hairy. 2 weeks with some body weight intervention, you'll probably be the same strength-wise. The movements may not feel as fresh as they did. So you may feel weaker, but that's not absolute weakness. That's more so a lack of familiarity with the movement.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So you go back in, the squat feels
like
a little off.
rusty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, 2 sessions, you shake that rust off, you're right back where you are. Now, when we get to a month, there is definitely some physiological changes. If you've kept your protein intake high and you are moving around, you should maybe lose 10, 20% relative strength. Like, it's not like you're atrophying. You're not losing muscle like you're sick and you're in bed.
Right.
We're going to talk about sickness, but for right now, this is a healthy human being, which for whatever reason, either the gym closed, you went on an extended vacation, whatever, work got really busy, you've not been in the gym for a month, but other than that, you've been paying attention to your nutrition, you've been having a daily energy expenditure. The rule of thumb is normally, however long you were out, half of that will be how long it takes for you to get back to ultimate strength.
Well, and like I've been in that. I kind of come and go with how dedicated I am to my exercise programs. I'll be really good for several months and then I kind of will fall off the wagon for, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But still, because I live with you, my protein intake is still pretty good.
Yeah.
I still always get my steps.
And you move a lot. Yeah.
I move a lot.
Yeah.
And so it's like, when I am like, okay, I need to get back to it, and I jump back in the first week or two, it's like I can still do the same weight that I could do before,
but it doesn't feel as good.
It doesn't feel quite as good, and maybe I take down the reps a little bit.
Oh yeah,
like instead of doing like 3 sets of 12, I'll get back in with like 3 sets of like 8 to 10.
Yeah,
so like a small reduction in the amount of reps, but like similar weight. I can do all of the same exercises, but feel a little bit rusty. Yeah. For maybe 2 weeks, and then I'm like back at it. Yeah. And it's nothing like when I first like was new to working out and had to like build up that strength. Like it's still there. It's just like
dormant.
Yeah. Dormant's the perfect word.
Well, because that's in the literature. That's what, so
that
smarter people than me have studied this.
Yeah. Well, and that's been my experience. That's exactly what it feels like.
You unless you've taken a massive layoff, once you build it, what happens is, and I'm going to, again, I just throw the science out there. you can double check me, but the muscle cells do not go anywhere. Once you've built new muscle cells, they don't disappear unless you have atrophied.
Okay.
Right? What they do is they shrink. So they're there. It just, you need to turn them back on, for lack of a more scientific
Wake
term.
them back up.
So that's if you don't have any like illness or anything like that. My experience was more illness based.
Because you were 2 weeks out of the gym. Yeah.
Was 2 weeks out of the gym. I got sick for one of those weeks.
Right.
And felt some residual effects for the second week of that.
Yeah.
So when I got back into the gym, thankfully, I was intelligent enough, and I did this on purpose, to start a new program coming back to the gym, because I knew even if I had taken a week off, I wanted to start something new going back in. And the reason that's so important is the start of a program is usually the lightest week of the program.
Right.
If it's a well-designed program. If you're going in and the first week is the hardest week,
get a new program.
You got to get a new program. You want to build into volume, intensity, because like we just said, maybe you've just come off of a deload. Maybe you've just come off of a week off. You don't want to go all out first things first, right? So I knew that was coming. Even still, first couple of days were incredibly difficult. And I experienced DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, very similar to when I first started working out. Not to the same degree.
That's the other thing that I forgot to say.
And I was going to ask
every
you.
time I fall off the wagon and come back, the first week
is rough, right?
misery.
Yeah.
And then the second week, it's like, still you get the soreness, but it's not as bad.
Not as bad.
And then eventually you just don't get sore anymore.
Well, so that's,
I never knew that was a thing until the first like chunk of time where I worked out really consistently.
This is one of the bigger myths that is still prevalent, even with a lot of coaches in our industry, is that soreness equals good work being done, or that soreness precedes muscle growth. Not the case. Soreness indicates novelty. Soreness indicates this is a movement that I either have never done before or I haven't done in a long time. And that is what produces the delayed onset muscle soreness.
Interesting.
Not to say that, because even, I bench 3 times a week. I'm very familiar with the movement. Every now and again, I will still get sore.
Yeah.
But that is more so a product of either novelty and load. Maybe I've gone up in weight. I've gone up in reps. I've added more volume. It is not because, oh my God, I've reached my cap on bench press. I'm not getting as sore. It's not going to continue to grow my muscle.
And even when you do like randomly get sore, it's not, I'm sure, to the degree that it is when you first start.
Nothing will be, even if you've taken a huge layoff, nothing will be as bad as those first couple of weeks in the gym.
Well, because we live in a 3-story townhome.
Yeah.
And I remember the last time I got back into exercising, it was hard to go up and down the stairs. And it's like, we go up and down the stairs a lot just because of the way that the house is
Our
laid
laundry room's
out.
on the bottom floor.
Bedroom's on the top floor, kitchen's in the middle.
So you got to go back and forth.
You're going up and down the stairs and it is misery. It is hard to go up and down the stairs.
My favorite story to tell, I started working out for football in high school. So this was the summer before we started high school. Actually, it was the spring of our 8th grade year for spring football.
Okay.
But it was the first time that I had ever been in a serious gym. And our gym at school was on the 2nd floor.
Yes.
So day 1, week 1 was a leg day.
Oh,
and
God.
I honestly had to sit on my butt and scoot down the stairs because I could not walk downstairs. And this was like 30 minutes after the workout.
Oh,
the next day and the day after, I was crawling places. It was horrible.
Ooh,
so
that's bad.
What I do with a lot of new people is say, hey, listen, this soreness is going to be rough, but it's going to go away, right? Yeah. Because a lot of people will experience that first initial delayed onset muscle soreness.
I can't live my life
and
like
quit
this.
because they think that it's going to be forever. No, it's not going to be forever.
Yeah. People really do. I thought that.
Oh, yeah. Well, it makes sense.
And it's funny. I never noticed, I started working out for the first time and I was like, I'm sore all the time. But other than that, I feel really good. Yeah. So it was like and I'm not lifting super heavy weights. At that point, I was mostly doing body weight stuff, very light, because that's what I wanted to do. And I was like, I feel really great. I can live with low grade muscle soreness indefinitely. Yeah. This is fine. And then I just never really thought about it again. And like I stayed sore for a couple of weeks. And then like a couple of like months later, I was like,
I'm not sore
I don't
anymore.
get sore anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like I still feel really good because of the workouts that I'm doing. And I also don't have to deal with the one drawback that I had identified, which aspect. Was soreness.
Now, for me, I do live with that low grade level of soreness.
Yeah.
But that's the sport that I've chosen to do. Powerlifting is a little bit more.
Very intense.
And I would honestly say that it's not so much DOMs. Sometimes it is, but it's more so the joint fatigue that I live with, which is something that it's a trade-off that you have to make.
Yeah.
When you do a sport like powerlifting or bodybuilding or Olympic weightlifting, you are going to deal with joint fatigue. That's just part of it.
I'm never going to get joint fatigue because
you work with bands,
lift 20 pounds
lighter
at a time.
weights. Yeah, exactly. But you still can get good results with that for 100%. Your goal.
Yeah, I'm really happy with my results. I'm not interested in squatting 300 pounds.
It's all good.
Not interested in it.
And
so my knees will never be upset with me for that.
And the thing about it is, just because my joints are sore now does not mean that I'm doing permanent damage to my knees. Maybe I am.
Yeah, but
because that's everybody's knock on lifting heavy is, in 10 years when you're walking with a cane, let me know how you feel, young buck. It's like, dude.
I see a lot of people walking with a cane, and it's not anybody who's been lifting heavy weights.
They sat on their behind.
There's a lot of reasons you might need to walk with a cane.
Right.
I would think that lifting weights is probably one of the least
that one drives me
risky.
Crazy. One of these days, we're going to do a podcast on that. I mean, because, a lot of times your joint health improves from heavy resistance training.
Yeah.
So actionable tip, if you're coming back from illness, I would honestly say start very, very, very light.
Like just be nice to yourself for a couple of weeks.
But more so than light, I think that the volume, meaning the amount of sets and reps relative to the weight that you're doing, should probably be reduced. So it should be a glorified deload.
Yeah.
So if you've been humming along and you get sick and it's an illness that takes you, it's a chest illness more so than it is a head illness. Because if you have like a head cold, you can kind of deal with it. You can work through it.
Yeah.
But if it's something fever, if it's below the neck, Take a break. Don't go into the gym first and foremost. But when you come back that first week, go in with an understanding of the volume probably should be reduced. If you're a crazy person and you love pain, go for it. I'm not your dad. But
this is our advice.
A general recommendation, I would say, and what helped me get through this week was a programmed reduction in volume. Next week is going to be fun because the volume is just shooting right back up. In this program I'm going from 2 sets to 5 sets. That's a big jump. So we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Takeaway message. Do not be afraid of a 1-week break at all. It shouldn't even cross your radar. Take a break. You're going to be fine. A 2-week break with no illness. Again, you may experience a little bit of drop in perceived strength. That's probably just rust with the movement patterns. A month plus, you're going to experience some reduction in muscle size. You're going to experience some reduction in strength. But just know it's not going to take you as long as it did to get back to where you were than how long it took you when you first started. So take comfort in that.
Yeah.
And I think a good rule of thumb is however long you were out, it's probably going to take you half that time to get back to full function.
So if you're off for a month,
2 weeks
with lots of active stuff in between, it'll take you 2 weeks to get back to feeling how you were before.
And then with a sickness, play it by ear. Everybody's different. All of the sicknesses are different. If you got bronchitis and it sticks around for a long time, that's different. I had COVID. It went away within 3-4 days. I felt okay. I still experienced a little bit of fatigue, but I didn't have any chest or fever symptoms, so I went back in. Talk to your doctor. We're not doctors. With the illness thing, really make sure that you get cleared to go back to the gym if it's hanging around. But when you do start back, reduction in volume, slight reduction in intensity, and you should be good to go.
Yep.
So don't be worried. Life gets in the way sometimes. Sometimes you got to take breaks. Totally good. You will get back to where you were.
Yep.
Well, that's all I had for the fitness question. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I don't.
Oh, I have something.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I would like to call your attention to this text right here. So, as you know, if you've been following the channel for a little bit, I'm trying to improve my writing skills. And one of the ways I'm trying to do that is I'm trying to read more and more outside of fitness
More
articles.
Variety.
Usually I read nonfiction, fitness articles, scientific research papers. So I'm trying manga. So I'm trying to read more classics, more American literature, more fiction, plays. So we were at a bookstore that Sarah loves. It's a secondhand bookstore.
It is great.
We're not going to tell you the name of it because then you'll find us.
I will gatekeep this for myself.
But we were there and we were in the classics section, and I wanted to find something that from an author that I had never heard of.
Yeah, you literally picked this at random.
Because I have read a lot of classics in high school and college. Being around you read a lot because she's going to tell you to read it. So I was like, let me find something I've never heard of. In comes Mr. Saul Bellow.
Who neither of us had heard of.
If you've heard of Saul Bellow, let me know. Because this man...
I've never heard of him. He's very prolific.
He's written 15 plus novels, and he's won the Nobel Prize for Literature. And we had never heard of him.
Which the book of the week that I recommended last week, Blindness,
yes,
also won the Nobel Prize for Literature. That is a fantastic book that, if you watched last week's podcast, I cannot recommend enough.
However,
it is this. I haven't read this, but based on your reviews, is not on the same level.
The Nobel Prize in Literature does not automatically indicate the quality of the text. Because I will say, he didn't win it for this book. He won it for a different book. This was not the book that he won it for.
Okay.
However, I hear that an author has won the Nobel Prize in Literature.
And you assume that most of their books, or all of their books, are at least a
they're going to meet a level of quality, correct?
Sure.
This is a novella. It's about 100 pages, and it is useless. That's the nicest thing that I can say about it. There is no purpose for this book to be written. My God. It's called a theft. Let me tell you. The theft doesn't occur until about page 60, and then it's resolved by page 65.
So what is the other 100 pages?
So what is the book about?
I don't know.
I'm still trying to figure it out. It's about a woman who goes through some type of trauma, but not really, because the theft is not even real. I don't know. If you've read this, please explain this to me. This book was garbage. And it's told, the writing style is weird. It jumps perspective a lot without letting you know.
I'm going to have to read this just so I can commiserate with you.
It's short. It's 100. Yeah. Imagine you love this book. Imagine you read this and you love it.
I read the back. I did a dramatic reading of the back out loud to you on the way home from the bookstore, and we were both like, I'm just going to
read. Let me just read the first sentence.
Yeah.
Blonde, big-boned, handsome, and always well-dressed. Clara Velde is a corporate executive specializing in women's fashion. Yeah. She's part naive farm girl and part sophisticated New Yorker. Her fourth husband, Wilder Velde, with whom Clara is currently living, taxes her patience. Clara has always loved the high-powered and all-knowing Ithiel Teddy Regler, Washington figure, advisor to presidents, and statesman, operator and dispenser of wisdom.
It just sounds really cheesy to me.
It's like a film noir pulp novel without any of the mystery. Because when I tell you she knows who stole the thing immediately, and then it just turns back up in her house, and we get no resolution.
Wow, spoilers.
Dude, don't read this book. You gotta read it.
I'm required now.
Don't judge a book by its cover or the fact that its author won the Nobel Prize in Literature.
Because that might not end up meaning very much.
Listen, it was 109 pages. It took me a day and a half.
Cost about $2.
Cost $2. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm not out much. But I will say, how hard can it be to win the Nobel Prize in Literature? I feel as if I have to read the one that he won the Nobel Prize for.
I'll find it at the library so we don't waste any more dollars on it.
So if you've heard of Saul Bellow,
let us know.
Please let us know. I mean, he was around. When was he writing? This came out in 89. So it's not like it was super, super old.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, but then I gave you a very good recommendation.
And then I read Our Town, and that made me cry in the car. So if you want to cry, it's a play. It's really good.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So follow along on the journey of me reading stuff that maybe I shouldn't read.
I think it's really fun that you're broadening your horizons. It's
hard.
You're going to kiss some frogs. You're going to read some stuff that you don't like.
In general, I just don't like fiction.
Yeah.
Because and that's not entirely true. I like fantasy, but I like fantasy because I get entertainment value from that. I don't like classic fiction because the reason that I read is to gain knowledge. And in my mind, knowledge can only come from nonfiction, which is not true.
No, it's not true.
Yeah. But that has been my perspective on books. It's like, oh, I'm going to read a self-help or a business or an investing book.
Yeah.
And I'm going to glean knowledge from that.
Yeah. Or
a psychology book or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to change the way that I look at it.
Yeah.
Especially when I come to the classics, I'm like, what, even if I don't get anything knowledge-wise out of it, can I just enjoy this for what it is?
Right.
This was not one of those things.
You did not enjoy it.
I didn't enjoy it. 0 out of 5 for enjoyment. 0 out of 5 for knowledge. Saul Bellow, good try. Go again, man. I mean, that was...
We might sample a different one.
I don't think he's still alive. He had 6 wives.
Wow. That's a lot of wives.
That's a lot of wives.
Not all at once, though, right?
Not all at once.
Okay. One at a time.
I just don't know what he was trying to get at with this. I just don't get it.
And we can't ask him.
Nope. He's dead.
Oh, well.
I read a lot of the Goodreads reviews were very similar to what I was thinking. It was just
really?
like,
It's like
I had heard great things about Saul Bellow and he's known for character arcs and taking characters through tough times and ending up in a different, because I read his Wikipedia.
Okay.
But what happened?
We might need to give him another chance.
I think that maybe this is just not indicative of his work.
You said he wrote about 15 books. Maybe this is number 15.
This was the worst one. He was on his deathbed. He was like,
maybe
I don't think so. I think he wrote a couple after this.
Well, I'm not saying this was the last one that he wrote. I'm saying that on a ranking of his top books, this is ranked last.
I was thinking time-wise.
No. I'm thinking number 1 best to number 15 worst. I think this could be number 15.
Here's the thing. I'm not going to read all 15 books.
Oh, heavens no. But maybe we could do some research and figure out what's supposed to be the best and give that a go.
All right. Well, we'll call it there. I've been recording content for 4 hours today.
Yeah, you have.
Saturdays are we record this podcast on Saturday if you wanted a little look behind the curtain. Yeah. And that has become my full content day. So I am fried.
Yeah.
But I think this was a fun podcast. Thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, fitness related or otherwise, please leave them in the comments. If you have icebreaker questions, you want to get to know us a little bit better, leave those in the comments as well. Follow us on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube.
Join our Discord.
I don't know what we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
I try. People are busy, man. Nobody responds to me in there. It's okay.
Well,
I'm not looking for a response.
We're working on it.
We're going to get there. Join and be the change you want to see.
That's right.
We'll see you next week. Hope you have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, for sure.
Goodbye.
Bye.